Ladies and gentlemen, before we talk about money, before we talk about investments, before we even talk about success, I want you to pause and ask yourself one question. Do I trust myself? Because if the answer is shaky, every decision you make in business, in finance, and in life will be shaky too. Self-trust is not a buzzword. It is the foundation of every great empire, every breakthrough idea, and every bold investment. Without it, people hesitate, second, guess, and let fear control their actions. But with it, you become unstoppable. You take risks others are too afraid to touch. You see opportunities others can't even recognize, and you create results that others only dream about. Let me tell you this, your very first investment is not in stocks, real estate, or business. Your very first investment is in you, in your mindset, your skills, your courage, and your ability to make decisions even when the outcome isn't guaranteed. Think about it. If you don't believe in your own capacity, why would you expect a market to reward you? Why would a client choose you? Why would investors back you? Doubt destroys opportunity. When you don't trust yourself, you hesitate, and hesitation costs money, costs time, and costs dreams. You've probably seen it. People who research for years, who wait for the perfect time. Who second, guess themselves until the chance is gone. What they lack is not information, it's self-trust. Clarity creates confidence. When you know your values, when you've defined your goals, when you understand who you are and what you stand for, then you trust yourself to make aligned decisions. You won't chase every shiny trend. You won't jump into every offer. Instead, you'll invest with intention, and intention multiplies results. And let's be clear, self-trust doesn't mean you'll never fail. It means you'll trust yourself enough to rise after failure, to learn, to grow, and to try again. Confidence compounds like interest. The more you practice it, the stronger it becomes. Every decision builds on the last. Every victory, no matter how small, expands your capacity to trust yourself more. So before you write the check, before you sign the deal, before you press buy, ask yourself, do I trust me? If the answer is yes, the investment will serve you, whether as profit or as a priceless lesson. If the answer is no, pause, build the foundation first, because when you trust yourself, the world begins to trust you too, and that, ladies and gentlemen, is the greatest investment of all. Your first investment is in yourself, and too many people forget this when they chase money, businesses, or opportunities. They look at the stock market, they study real estate trends, they analyze every possible financial move, but they skip over the single most powerful investment they can ever make. The one in their own mindset, skills, and belief. Think about it. Every dollar you put into the market is filtered through the lens of who you are. Your decisions are shaped by your confidence, your clarity, and your capacity to act. If you haven't invested in yourself first, you're essentially placing money in a vehicle you don't even know how to drive. When you strengthen yourself, you raise your ability to recognize opportunities others can't see. Knowledge sharpens your vision, skills increase your value, and self-belief ensures that when the right door opens, you walk through it instead of doubting whether you belong there. Without that inner investment, you'll constantly second, guess yourself. You'll hesitate, you'll let fear override logic. But when you know you've put the work into developing your mind and your character, you approach every opportunity with grounded confidence. You don't just hope it works. You know you can make it work. Investing in yourself also compounds over time. Just like money, personal growth multiplies. A single book, a single course, a single skill learned might not look like much in the beginning, but over years those investments stack up. They create a version of you that is smarter, stronger, and more prepared than the one who started. And the truth is, no market crash, no bad deal, no failed partnership can ever take away the growth you've built inside. You carry it with you everywhere you go. That's why investing in yourself first is never a risk. It's the safest investment you'll ever make. Think about the leaders you admire, the entrepreneurs you follow, the wealthy individuals who seem to move with certainty. Every one of them built themselves before they built their wealth. They trusted their judgment because they had put the hours into refining it. They trusted their instincts because they had trained them through knowledge and experience. They trusted their resilience because they had proven to themselves time and again that they could get back up after falling. The money followed their mindset, it didn't create it. And here's the part most people miss. When you invest in yourself, you don't just gain personal growth, you gain influence. People trust leaders who clearly trust themselves. Clients, investors, and partners are drawn to individuals who radiate certainty. They don't follow hesitation, they follow conviction. By investing in yourself, you're not just preparing for financial returns. You're creating a presence that attracts opportunities. So when you think about where to start on your financial journey, don't rush to chase the next big investment trend. Ask yourself if you've invested in you, because the return on that investment will pay you in every area of your life, and it will never stop compounding. Doubt destroys opportunity, and this truth shows up in every corner of life and business. The people who never move forward, who never see growth, who never experience the return they dream of, are not held back because opportunities didn't exist. Opportunities surround us every single day. What holds them back is the doubt that clouds their decisions, the hesitation that steals their momentum, and the constant second guessing that whispers, "What if I'm wrong?" Doubt is a thief. It robs you not only of wealth but of time, energy, and potential. Every time you hesitate because of self-doubt, you give your dreams an expiration date. When you doubt yourself, you delay action. Delay becomes stagnation, and stagnation becomes regret. How many people have watched the rise of industries like technology, e-commerce, or digital platforms and said later, "I thought about investing in that years ago." They thought about it, but they didn't act. And they didn't act because doubt convinced them they weren't ready, they didn't know enough, or they might fail. The truth is, failure doesn't destroy you, doubt does. Failure teaches, doubt paralyzes. When you fail, you still move forward with lessons, resilience, and sharper judgment. But when you doubt, you don't move at all. You watch the doors open and close while you stand on the sidelines convincing yourself it's not your turn. The danger of doubt is that it disguises itself as logic. It tells you that waiting is safer, that you need more information, that the timing isn't perfect yet. But perfect timing doesn't exist. Information will always be incomplete. Risk will always be present. The only thing that makes an investment or decision work is the confidence you bring to it. Doubt tells you to wait until you're certain. Confidence says, "I'll figure it out as I go." And it's the confident ones who seize opportunity while others keep waiting. You have to understand that doubt is contagious. If you don't trust yourself, others won't trust you either. Partners sense it, investors sense it, even clients sense it. Nobody wants to follow someone who can't stand firm in their own choices. Opportunity isn't just about what you know, it's about the belief you project. And the moment you project doubt, doors begin to close. But the moment you project certainty, even imperfect certainty, doors swing wide open because people want to align with confidence. The way to overcome doubt is not by eliminating risk, but by strengthening trust in yourself. If you trust your ability to learn, to adapt, to recover, then doubt loses its grip. Suddenly, opportunities don't feel like threats. They feel like challenges you are prepared to face. That mindset shift changes everything. Where others hesitate, you step forward. Where others question, you decide. Where others delay, you move. And those moves, even when they don't go perfectly, create momentum that opens up even greater opportunities. Doubt destroys opportunity, but self-trust creates it. Every time you choose to believe in your ability instead of questioning it, you open a door that doubt would have slammed shut. And the more doors you walk through, the more unstoppable your journey becomes. Clarity creates confidence, and without clarity, every decision feels heavy, confusing, and uncertain. When you don't know exactly what you want, you hesitate. You waste energy bouncing between options, doubting your choices, and guessing yourself. But when you are clear about who you are, what you value, and where you are going, suddenly the fog lifts. Decisions become lighter, actions become quicker, and your confidence grows, not because everything is guaranteed to work, but because you finally know what you're working toward. Clarity is power, and it is the very foundation of self-trust. So many people think they lack confidence, but what they really lack is clarity. They want to feel bold, decisive, and unshakable, yet their goals are vague, their priorities are scattered, and their vision is blurry. Imagine trying to shoot an arrow without a target. Of course you'd feel unsteady. Of course you'd hesitate before releasing. The same is true in business, in investments, and in life. Without a clear target, you will always doubt yourself because you have nothing to aim at. But once you define the target, once you set the vision, you can channel all your energy into hitting it, and that focus naturally creates confidence. Clarity also helps you filter distractions. Every day, opportunities will come your way. Some will look shiny, some will look urgent, and some will be disguised as once-in-lifetime chances. Without clarity, you'll be tempted to chase them all, spreading yourself thin and losing your power. But with clarity, you can immediately ask, does this align with my goals? Does this move me closer to my vision? If the answer is no, you let it go without guilt. That discipline makes you confident because you're no longer swayed by noise. You're guided by purpose. Think about leaders who inspire you. They walk into a room with certainty not because they know every outcome, but because they know themselves and what they stand for. Their clarity fuels their confidence. And that confidence is magnetic. It draws people in. Investors want to back them. Clients want to work with them. Teams want to follow them. People don't rally around someone who is scattered or uncertain. They rally around someone who radiates clarity, someone whose direction is unmistakable. Clarity also transforms how you handle failure. Without it, failure feels like a dead end. But with clarity, failure is just feedback. It tells you what's not working on the way to your clearly defined destination. That perspective allows you to stay confident even in setbacks because you know the bigger picture. You know exactly why you started, and that vision keeps you moving when others would stop. The truth is, clarity is not found by accident. It's created through reflection, learning, and deliberate choices. You must take the time to ask hard questions. What do I want? What do I value? What am I willing to fight for? The clearer your answers, the stronger your confidence will be. And when clarity meets action, confidence becomes unshakable. Self-trust is the foundation of financial trust because no one will put their money, their time, or their energy into someone who doesn't even believe in themselves. Every financial relationship, whether it's with investors, clients, partners, or even your own business decisions, begins with trust, and trust starts within. If you can't trust yourself to follow through, to make sound choices, to honor your commitments, how can you expect anyone else to? Money doesn't follow hesitation, it follows certainty, and certainty is born from self-trust. When you walk into a room to pitch an idea, people aren't just evaluating your numbers, they're evaluating you. They're looking at the way you speak, the way you hold yourself, and the way you carry your vision. If you don't trust your own ability to execute, it shows. Your voice wavers, your explanations feel defensive, and your presence lacks conviction. On the other hand, when you trust yourself deeply, you radiate assurance. You don't have to over-explain. You don't have to beg. You simply present with confidence, and that confidence makes others believe in you. Financial trust is not built on perfection. It's built on consistency and conviction. People don't expect you to have all the answers, but they expect you to own your decisions and adapt when challenges come. Self-trust gives you that resilience. It tells the world, I can handle whatever happens, and I won't collapse under pressure. That energy is contagious. It makes clients want to stay with you, it makes investors want to back you, and it makes teams want to follow you. Because people aren't really buying your product or your service at first. They are buying you, and if you can't trust yourself, why should they? Think about the most successful entrepreneurs and leaders. They aren't fearless because everything always goes right. They're fearless because they've built such strong self-trust that even when things go wrong, they believe in their ability to pivot, to learn, and to recover. That's why people invest in them, not because the idea is guaranteed, but because the person behind it is trusted. Self-trust is like collateral. It reassures others that no matter what happens, the foundation is solid. And this doesn't just apply in business partnerships. Even in personal finance, the same principle holds true. If you don't trust yourself with money, you'll make impulsive choices, you'll ignore your long-term plan, and you'll sabotage your own progress. But when you trust yourself, you stick to your commitments. You know when to spend, when to save, and when to invest. That discipline creates stability, and stability builds external trust. Banks, partners, and even family members feel secure when they see you are consistent in how you handle resources. At the core, financial trust is just a reflection of self-trust. The stronger your foundation, the more others will believe in your ability to handle responsibility. The weaker your self-trust, the shakier every financial opportunity becomes. So if you want the world to trust you with resources, start by building unshakable trust within yourself, because once you trust you, everyone else will follow. Confidence compounds like interest, and the more you practice it, the stronger it grows over time. Just like money in an investment account, confidence doesn't expand in a straight line. It multiplies with consistency. Every small act of trusting yourself, every decision made with courage, every risk taken despite fear adds another layer to your belief system. At first, it may feel like nothing is happening. Just like the early stages of compounding, the growth seems slow. But stay consistent, and one day the results explode. That is the beauty of confidence. It starts small, but with repetition and patience, it builds into an unstoppable force that transforms your entire life. The reason confidence is so powerful is because it creates momentum. Every time you take action and prove to yourself that you can handle it, you add another deposit into your confidence account. Each success, no matter how small, validates your belief in yourself. Each failure, when viewed as a lesson instead of a defeat, strengthens your resilience. Over time, these experiences pile up, and suddenly you no longer question your ability. You trust it. You don't hesitate because you've built a history with yourself that says, "I can figure this out." That history compounds into unshakable confidence. Think about it in practical terms. The first time you invest money, pitch an idea, or step into a leadership role, it feels scary, you're uncertain, you wonder if you're ready. But after doing it once, you realize it wasn't as impossible as you thought. Do it again and your confidence doubles. Do it a third, fourth, and fifth time, and suddenly what once felt terrifying now feels natural. The action didn't change, the person did. That growth came from compounding confidence, built through repetition and trust. The most successful people in the world didn't start out with extraordinary confidence. They built it by showing up repeatedly, by saying yes when fear said no, by choosing growth over comfort. Each step created interest on their belief, and over time, that interest turned into wealth not only in money, but in mindset. Their confidence became a magnet for opportunity. People are drawn to confident leaders because confidence is contagious. When you radiate assurance, others borrow from your belief until they develop their own. That influence alone creates exponential opportunities. What's important to remember is that compounding requires consistency. If you keep doubting yourself, pulling back, or quitting when it gets hard, you interrupt the process. Just like withdrawing money too early kills the effect of compound interest, giving up too soon prevents your confidence from multiplying. The key is to keep depositing, keep taking action, keep trusting yourself, keep moving forward even when it feels small. Because those small steps, repeated over time, turn into extraordinary leaps. Confidence compounds like interest, and the longer you let it build, the more unstoppable you become. The growth might look invisible at first, but one day it will be undeniable. And when that day comes, you'll realize that the greatest investment you ever made wasn't in markets or strategies. It was in the compounding power of believing in yourself.